How's it going, you guys? Welcome to Morning Cop. We started off with news coming out of Los Angeles and massive protests have erupted outside of Dodger Stadium, which was supposedly the epicenter for a vaccine drive that was happening all around Los Angeles. Now, anti vaxxers as well as right wing protesters have made sure that no one could get their hands on the vaccine. People that were waiting hours on end in lines, so waiting for their turn to make sure that they're vaccinated, had to turn around and go back home even after spending hours on end. Now, anti vaxxers and right wing media have been pushing the narrative that the vaccine is not at all good for you. As a matter of fact, the vaccine is mutating certain people's genes. Also, people are dropping dead, apparently. That's what the right wing media is claiming and proclaiming without substantial evidence at their disposal. People are pointing towards videos that might be altered, videos that might not hold much sustained ground. But the point of the matter is that spreading misinformation campaigns is very dangerous. Now, LA is a hub for people in the United States. The population centers in the United States deserve vaccine drives sooner than any other place in the United States, in my opinion. Now, LA being the epicenter of a wide variety of age groups of people, it would make sense that the elderly as well as the first frontline workers receive the vaccines first and foremost. But with right wing organizations as well as numerous other ventures making sure that they firmly stand in the way of vaccine drives, it's still anyone's guess as to if anything can ever be done with this misinformation still being out there. And even if it is out there, I believe that it is on the government of the United States to make sure that they put out the right amount of information that can get rid of people's doubts, that can answer people's questions, and then thereby extinguish the flame of misinformation right at the source. We also move on to the fact that the new COVID variant that was found in South Africa initially has now officially made its way to the United States. A bunch of cases have popped up with the new coronavirus variant. Whether this variant will be responsive to the existing vaccines or whether some other kind of vaccine has to be developed for it is still anyone's guess. The UK also faced the Brazilian coronavirus variant that hopped over, but turns out that the vaccine drive that they had already going on was more than capable of handling this new variant as well. Whether the same repeats for the South African variant in the United States, still too early to tell. We also understand the fact that the United States is losing up to 3,000 people every single day with various coronavirus variants that are now running rampant across it. And no specific state in the United States today is COVID free. We move on to the fact that Johnson&Johnson, the world's biggest possible name in pharmaceuticals as well as in numerous other ventures, has now finally joined the rat race for the coronavirus vaccine. Johnson&Johnson pointed out that 75% is the success rate what its vaccine has been able to accomplish with COVID positive cases, but third-party observers have boiled that down more towards a 65 or a 64%, which is still nevertheless pretty good when you take under account the fact that we as a civilization are in dire need of vaccines. With more vaccine nationalism coming into play, the European Union is being questioned left, right, and center by the WHO, stating that vaccine nationalism is not going to be the answer to dealing with this pandemic. People who believe that their own countries, their own nations deserve vaccines first and foremost rather than the rest of the world, well, frontline workers and elderly people exist everywhere. So the fact that those people need to be vaccinated prior to everyone else being vaccinated makes the most sense. And whether those people are in your immediate vicinity or not, the point of the matter is that those people need to be the first ones to receive this dose of the vaccine. Germany is also threatening the European Union with legal action, considering that they've been neglected with their vaccine drives. Now, the European Union and its approach towards vaccine distribution, we have no concrete guidelines as to where it will go. The powers that be will make the decisions that they deem fit. We just hope that vaccine nationalism doesn't come into play. We move on to the fact that the United Kingdom had put out a statement dictating that it's going to be letting in people from Hong Kong on visas, that it's going to be specially granting them. Now, these visas are so well sought after that thousands of people have already left Hong Kong amongst fears of China trying to take over again. Now, this special visa was garnered on the grounds that Hong Kong was initially a British colony. Now, Hong Kong was apparently very well built and very well maintained by the Britishers. Well, when the Britishers left, they openly gave democracy to the people of Hong Kong, which they've lived with ever since. But now that the lease that was given to the Britishers is coming to an end, the people of Hong Kong are fearing as to what the future of their nation might be. Whether they'll be a part of China again as the deal dictated, or whether something happens that they would finally be able to sustain an independent nation. It's anyone's guess for now, but the point is that the UK has offered a helping hand, and those that decide to leave Hong Kong for the United Kingdom, they are more than capable of doing so now that the new visa scheme is officially rolled out. We move on to the final story of the day, which also involves the United Kingdom. And now there was a documentary that was filmed way back in the day about the royal family of the United Kingdom, the infamous royal family that everyone is so obsessed with. Now, it turns out that this was a fly on the wall documentary covering a wide array of things. Queen Elizabeth, her family, her daughter, Prince Philip, everyone who was involved in the royal family. And this was a very detail oriented documentary, it turned out. It was so detail oriented that upon final edit, the Queen herself shelved this documentary. She said that it should not be seen by the world. And for 56 years, this documentary was shelved. Well, it turns out that this week, this documentary was leaked onto YouTube. Now, who leaked it, whether it was an official leak or not, there's no way of telling. The bottom line still being that this documentary is now for people's access. So if you're obsessed with the royal family and if you want to get a glimpse as to what the realities of the royal family were way back then, as well as a brief glimpse into what it possibly could be today, go take a look at it. It's on YouTube, it's for free now that it's out there. And no matter what the United Kingdom does now, you cannot take back something that's on the internet because the internet is forever. With that being said, this has been a Morning Cup. See you tomorrow. Thank you.